Hello, everybody. First of all, I want to apologize for my voice. I'm not feeling that great, but I really needed to make this video. I'm using also papers recycled because, we don't want to waste tree. So excuse me for that as well, that you can see through. But in this video, I actually want to talk about chapter 2 and chapter 6. And then it doesn't matter for HAFO and FIVIO. What are the differences, but also the similarities between those two chapters? So the first thing that we did was chapter 2. You have many similar triangles. You've made a lot of exercises, but just to go through one more time what's actually the basic core of this chapter is that we started off with a schema. Then the first thing we always do is proving. Now, I'm not going to do everything, but just to show that you always start with proving if two triangles are similar. That's actually the question. That's why proving is so important, because if two triangles are not similar to each other, and with that I mean the angles have to be the same size in every triangle that you're analyzing, you cannot go to a ratio table, because a ratio means something is in ratio to something else. Else then they are not similar. So that's why the proving is the most important part, and people forget it. So for these, you can analyze and see here two triangles, probably ABC, probably DEC, but you don't know that yet. You have to prove it. And the proving, sometimes symbols are given, but in this case, it's not. The only thing that you know is that AB and DE are parallel to each other. So we prove that the angles are the same. So angle C, that's an easy one, in triangle ABC is exactly angle C in triangle DEC. It's the same angle. So you know if this, for example, is 50, it's 50 here and it's 50 there. So there you can use the reason same angle in both triangles. You're explaining it. Then we can look at, for example, A with D. Now this forms an F shape, which is then corresponding angle. So angle ABC, so we have to write angle A is angle D. Y, you can write corresponding or F angle. I just want to see a little reasoning. So we've proven that two angles are the same. Now, if two angles are the same in a triangle, that means the third one has to be the same as the third one in the other triangle. That's why we only do two angles, to show that two angles are the same. We can now draw a conclusion, which is the similarity, which is also important. You can do that even yourself, you know that now, is that triangle ABC, and we write similar, this means similar. Here it is exactly the same, and therefore they are similar, because one is clearly bigger than the other one. And then we write a correct order, which is A corresponds with D, B corresponds with E, and then C corresponds with C, or actually it is the same angle. And then indeed, you did this in class, you make the ratio table, just to show you once again how triangle DEC, if you change ABC with DEC, that's okay, that's not a problem. Even here, if you do it differently, AB, DE, AC, DC, BC, and EC, and you put in your measurements, you see what you need. You cannot use Pythagoras here because it's not a right angle triangle, but maybe you could set a length for X, etc., etc. So step 4 would be calculations. And depending on what you need, calculations could be anything, cross products, but also still figuring out what a length is. Okay? So this is actually the core. And for FABO, of course, you get 3D shapes, solids. But even there, you can extract, for example, the 2D into your paper, like onto your paper. You can write this and draw it. Okay? Now, you know that this whole chapter is always about two triangles. You cannot do anything if you have one. So it's always here with two triangles And if they are similar or not, you're going to figure that out. But always two of them have to be given, you know? Else you cannot work. So we always have two triangles. And what we want in chapter 2 is we always calculate. What are we calculating here? Sides. Until now, you've always calculated sides. If it was with Pythagoras or with the similarity, you did sides. Now,